application for naturalization. All we need to do is go to USCIS.gov, click on Citizenship, scroll down to Apply for Citizenship. If you wish to apply online, you can click here, but you need to create an account. At the end, you will have the opportunity to pay with a credit card. If you want to apply with the paper application, click here, scroll down. You will have the N-400 on the PDF format, instructions on how to apply and complete the application, document checklist of all the documents that you need to submit along with your application. Click here. Make sure you have the updated version, expires September 30th, 2022. This application has 20 pages and a little barcode at the end of each page. Remember that on each page, it is necessary that you type your 9 digits A number. That number is on your permanent resident card right here, 9 digits. And this is what you need to add on each one of your pages. You have to let them know why you're applying for citizenship. Part 2, information about you. How do you use your name currently? How does your name appear on your permanent resident card? Information about you. If you have used your name in any other ways, nicknames, aliases. If you become a citizen, would you like to change your name legally? You tell them yes or no, and how would you like to change it? Social Security, date of birth, date you became a lawful permanent resident. That is also on your application, resident since. That's what you need to write on your application. Country of birth, nationality. Over here, if you have any physical or disability or mental impairment, you have to type yes, and of course you have to provide a special application that your primary doctor has to complete. Exemptions for English language test means that you are exempt from taking the English language part of the test. There are 4 parts. You are not exempt for the writing or the reading or the citizen and government questions, but you are exempt for the English language test if you fall under any one of these. That means if you are 50 years old or older and you have been as a permanent resident for 20 years or more, if you are 55 years or older and you have been a permanent resident for 15 years or more, if you are 65 years old and you have been a permanent resident for 20 years or more, and of course, this will allow you to provide an interpreter at the time of the interview. You can also contact them if you don't have one, and they can provide you with one. Accommodation with, if you have any disabilities or impairment, you have to let them know. Information to contact you, your date, telephone number, cellular number, email if you have any. Information about your residence, they need to know where have you lived for the past 5 years, and start with the most recent one. You have 3, 4, 5 spaces. Information about your parents, your mother, your father. Biographic information if you have any doubts about your height or eye color or hair color, you can just refer to your driver's license and that will help you out. Information about your employment or schools that you have attended for the past 5 years, starting with the most recent one. You have 3 spaces for that. If you run out of spaces, just include an additional page with your 9 digits permanent resident card number and your name, and then include the additional information. Time outside of the United States, this information you will find it on your passport. The time you left, the time you returned. If your trip lasted more than 6 months, where did you go? Total of dates outside of the United States. If you have more than 1 trip for the past 5 years, you need to add them up and write here how many days total with how many trips. Your marital status. If you select married, then you have to provide your current spouse information. If your current spouse have been married before, you also have to provide them with that prior spouse information. Part 11, information about your children. How many total children? And they're specifying here: alive, missing, deceased, born here, born somewhere else. They need to know. And you have child 1, child 2, 3, 4 spaces for to include those children. Part 12, information about yourself. Have you ever in life, remember that Department of Homeland Security is connected with other agencies and they will find out, so it doesn't matter how long it's been, you have to tell them what happened. There's also a few vocabulary here on this application that you might want to practice, because they'll probably ask you what does that mean, because there's so many questions here with have you ever, and people tend to say no, 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 and at some point they need to find out if you really understand what you're saying, and they might ask you what is a communist party, or they might ask you what is a Nazi government. They also might ask you what is genocide, what is gambling, what is drunkard, and all these things. So it's always good to practice some of those words on your application. And they will continue with have you ever here if you have any crime, and if you've been in prison, and they need to know what happened, when, where, and the outcome. Additional information about you, have you ever, and when you come to question 45 to 50, these are the one you have to pay attention, because you need to make sure you answer correctly. If you support the Constitution in any form of government, if you understand the full oath of allegiance, if you are willing to take the oath of allegiance, they might ask you what is the oath of allegiance, so just be prepared. And if the law requires it, are you willing to bear arms on behalf of the United States? There's also questions here about if you are a male who lived here between the ages of 18 and 26 years old, and you register for selected services. They want to know when and what is your selected services number. If you forgot, if you didn't know, then you will have to go to the page SSS.gov and communicate with someone so they can provide you with that report if you ever registered. And if you forgot to do it, you have to tell them why you didn't, and they have to provide you with that letter, because they will ask you for the letter. It's always good to be prepared with that one too. Applicant statement, certification, and signature. Of course, you are telling them that everything that you provided is correct. And part 13, you must sign this application and date it. Otherwise, they will send it back to you and it will delay the process. If you complete it online, then you will have to submit an electronic signature here on part 13. Part 14 is for anyone who help you interpret or translate anything on this application. They want their name, address, and their signature. Part 15 is someone help you complete this application. They will need to know their name, address, and their signature. You don't need to sign this until you go for your interview. You need to sign in front of the officer. Part 17 also is the renunciation of any foreign titles. You have to sign in front of the officer. And part 18, the oath of allegiance, you don't have to sign it until you go for your ceremony. This is basically how the application looks. The filing fees are $640 currently, plus $85 for biometric services. the total of $725. If you have to write a check or money order, you have to pay to the order of U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Do not use any abbreviations. Also, if you have any questions in regard to this application or other services and to obtain the status of your case, you can call this 800-375-5283. They might be able to help you in your language as well. Also, if we go back here and scroll down, you will see where to file. It depends on which state do you live in. If you live in any of the states here, you will have to send it to this P.O. Box, or you can send the Federal Express. You can always send it as a certified, and you should be able to track it and see where it goes. If you live in any of the states here, you can send it to this P.O. Box. Any of the states, send it to this P.O. Box, or military members, send it to this P.O. Box in Chicago, Illinois. I hope this information was helpful. Don't forget to subscribe, and there are other videos that I'm creating related to citizenship tests that might help you, and I hope to see you there. Leave me your comments if you have any questions and I have the answer. I'll be more than glad to help you. God bless you.